say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
They both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Canelo? Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith discussed the showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Stephen A. predicts Crawford wins on points, but warns it won't be easy. He recalls Gervonta Davis's comment that Crawford could get into trouble if he trades too much. With Canelo's natural edge in size and power, Stephen A. says Crawford has to depend on defense, speed, and ring IQ instead of going punch for punch. Both analysts agree that strategy, not strength, will decide this fight.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
Meanwhile, Max Kellerman points out that Terence Crawford's skills look sharper overall, giving him a technical advantage. He also mentions Canelo Alvarez's strong chin and naturally bigger frame, which give him strength in close exchanges. Still, Kellerman notes that Canelo hasn't looked as sharp or dominant in recent fights, showing a slight decline. This sets up the matchup as Crawford's timing and skill against Canelo's size and toughness.
Great chin, a great chin. But in terms of if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Okay. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov.
Antonio Tarver, former champion and well-known boxing analyst, has shown clear support for Terence Crawford while also admitting how tough this matchup really is. Tarver says Crawford has proven himself time and again in different weight classes, but this fight is a whole new challenge. He believes it's not only the biggest test of Crawford's career, but also a type of fight that Canelo Alvarez has never experienced before.
Alvarez take, I'm Bud County all the way, but this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Timothy Bradley Jr., known for his strong boxing IQ, expects the first round of Canelo versus Crawford to be cautious and calculated. He predicts both fighters will avoid big risks early, instead using the round to study each other's movement, timing, and openings. Bradley explains that Crawford is very patient at the start of big fights, preferring to see what his opponent brings before setting traps. Canelo has also shown a habit of testing distance in the opening round and making adjustments as the fight goes on. According to Bradley, This means the first round will be less action and more of a tactical feel-out.
Versa, Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. You know, in the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm. You know, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although he is I would say he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher. You know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, you know, just gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round is going to be a real, like, calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure, man. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? And let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, you know, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next.
Amir Khan, who has fought both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, offers a unique view on this matchup. He points out that Crawford has already secured his place as one of the greats, especially at welterweight. At the same time, Khan warns that weight divisions exist for a reason, and moving up against naturally bigger opponents comes with real danger. In his opinion, Crawford didn't need to take on the pressure of fighting Canelo since his legacy is already set. Still, Khan respects the ambition behind the move, calling it a bold attempt to silence critics and achieve something very few fighters ever have, challenging the limits of weight classes. But Khan makes it clear, while Crawford is elite, going up against someone as strong as Canelo is a huge risk. It could either cement his place in history or seriously damage his career. Throughout all the build-up, though, both fighters showed nothing but respect.
We did all the build-up, they were nothing but respectful. I just feel that, you know, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make them for a purpose. And I highly respect and say pound for pound, the best fighter is Crawford by far and beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway. So you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He feels
he believes in his skill. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well, that he might do really well in there. So look,
you fought them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously it's weight.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Promoter Tom Lafleur views the fight through the lens of business and spectacle. He says Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are two of the biggest stars in boxing, each with massive fan bases that span different countries and audiences. According to Lafleur, very few modern fights can match this one in scale. It's not just about skill. It's about two empires colliding. Canelo's long reign as the face of boxing and Crawford's rise as a pound-for-pound great. Lafleur feels the hype is fully deserved because it's rare to see fighters of this level agree to face each other, especially with weight differences and legacy on the line.
High-profile show, it's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that, and you know, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. You know, Callum, you know, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston, and then Fernando Jr., you know, from one of the biggest boxing named families, you know, in the history of boxing. He's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, you know, such a big show that like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to this sport is just so sincere. He's so real, you know, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft. And his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter of him.
Trainer Dave Coldwell points to Crawford's unique style, noting his smooth stance switches and excellent footwork to control distance. He says Crawford's leg movement is one of his most underrated weapons, helping him create angles, frustrate opponents, and set the pace of fights. Against a strong pressure fighter like Canelo, Coldwell believes these skills could be the difference. He explains that if Crawford keeps moving and avoids getting pinned on the ropes, he has everything needed to outmaneuver Canelo and pile up points.
From when the fight got made, I've always fancied Crawford. I just think he's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, his brain, he can switch, he's very good as a southpaw. His judgment of distance is fantastic, his punch picking is fantastic, he's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him and just. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest, and he loads up. And he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been out before. When Crawford gets hit, he does get hit. That's why he's exciting. But he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off at an angle, to get that distance.
Jeff Mayweather emphasizes the importance of weight and natural size, calling it one of the biggest factors in this fight. He explains that Canelo has been dominant at super middleweight, a division that fits his body perfectly. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, is stepping into a weight class that isn't natural for him, which raises questions about whether the extra pounds could impact his speed, stamina, and durability. Mayweather notes that Canelo's comfort at this weight gives him a built-in advantage since he won't need to make major changes to his body.
Factor, I mean, this is a weight class that Canelo is already, owned. He owns his weight class. And so, and he even went up higher. So, he's already proven what he can do and what he can take at those other weight classes. So, I don't know, but if anyone can do it, it probably would be Terence Crawford. This guy seems like he's amazing. I'm a big fan of Terence Crawford, but I'm a big fan of Canelo as well. So it's one of those situations where somebody has to lose. So I don't know who's gonna lose, but I think that it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
A Ring magazine analyst examines Canelo's recent outings, pointing out that although Alvarez has trained hard and stayed disciplined, one weakness has stood out. In his last few fights, he has struggled to cut off the ring effectively, which has let opponents move around and avoid his big shots. Against a fighter like Crawford, who relies heavily on movement and angles, this could become a major problem. The analyst believes Canelo needs to regain his ability to corner opponents and close off their escape routes.
I should have any position to critique and criticize Canelo. But one of the things that he's gotten in trouble with in the last couple of fights, not being able to cut off the ring. You know, you go to the William Skull fight and you watched him chase William Skull around and around and around that ring. And yes, William Skull was running from him. That was pretty clear to see. He was on his bike utilizing his jab, but you didn't see Canelo cut him off. You didn't see him move laterally to be able to stop a lot of that running or stop a lot of that circling around the ropes, which is his responsibility if he's going to take the front foot and look to establish himself offensively. And when I watch Canelo here, he's gotten away with this pretty much his entire career, but I watch him cross-step a lot. And you see it right there, where he goes from circling, he rolls under the right hand, and instead of moving laterally, replacing his back foot with his front foot, he L-steps and then crosses over, which instead of just moving laterally and shifting, like I said, shuffling to his right off of the L-step, off of the reset, which would allow him to be ready to go and ready to fight again, it takes him that extra beat.
Former champion David Haye offers a change in perspective. At first, he felt Canelo's size and power would overwhelm Crawford, leaving little chance for the smaller man to win. But after watching Crawford train and seeing his relentless work ethic and sharp technique, Haye admits his view has shifted. He says he couldn't see it before, but now believes Crawford has a genuine shot at victory.
When that's beating Canelo, I've been a fan of his for a long time, and likewise with Crawford. I never thought there was a version of reality where they'd both be in the ring with each other. I initially automatically assumed, because Canelo's obviously beaten, he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. He's just campaigned at a much bigger weight, so because bigger can beat him with little, usually. Until I saw them standing next to each other and they looked the same size, so I couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, okay, if they're the same size, then it's literally pound for pound. Who's pound for pound better? And that's it. They're both pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have got them 1 and 2. And I favoured Canelo starting off, but over time, I'm starting to think once again Crawford is one of those guys where he reminds me of kind of Andre Ward a little bit, their mindset, and he wouldn't put himself in a position if he didn't know for sure he had enough firepower to deal with someone of Canelo's stature and Canelo's history. But it's the two best fighters on the planet mixing it up. It's one of those dream fights. It's a proper trade fight. You know, that anyone who's interested in boxing and want to see two living legends going at it. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually happening. Does that make sense? Because they're so big in their own right. The fact that fight would never have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wouldn't have happened. But now anything's possible.
Jeff Horn, a former world champion, delivers a warning to Canelo Alvarez. He says that while size and strength matter, they don't guarantee victory. Horn believes Crawford's elite defense will allow him to limit damage and take away Canelo's power. He explains that Crawford has a rare ability to read punches, roll with shots, and avoid getting hit clean. If Canelo can't land clearly, his size advantage won't mean as much. Horn stresses that Crawford's discipline on defense could be the key, helping him frustrate Canelo, cut down exchanges, and counter with accuracy. Another veteran fighter who has followed Terence Crawford's career closely adds his take with certainty. After studying Crawford's growth, preparation, and performances, he says it's impossible to bet against him. He highlights Crawford's mental toughness, consistency, and ability to deliver in big moments, qualities that separate him from the rest. For this fighter, Crawford has already proved he belongs among boxing's best, and this fight with Canelo is simply another chance to show why.
Me analyzing and watching Crawford over all these years, I just cannot bet against dude, bro.
No, you can't.
I'm going to roll with Crawford, and shout out to Nebraska, and that's just what it is.
I'm so glad you here, big
I'm gonna go ahead and put my bread down on Crawford, and I'm gonna live with the results.
You were a DB, right?
I played wide receiver, kick return, punt return.
Oh, I thought you. Oh, why did I think you was a DB?
No.
Even being a wide receiver, you fit the bill of a Terence Crawford. If Terence was a football player, he more than likely would be a DB or a wide receiver.
Yeah.
How much weight did you put on leaving high school going into college?
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for the next one.